Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for 6 things that we learned from Aston Villa 2, Chelsea 1. Yet again, it is another defeat for Chelsea, another defeat for Maresca, and the Premier League top 4. I mean, we said it in the preview. I said that Aston Villa were going to win 2-1. I was absolutely certain we were going to get beat. And you know how bad it is to be a Chelsea fan going into any game right now. Even flipping Copenhagen in the Conference League. I'm not even confident we can beat Copenhagen, for goodness sake. Chelsea, we're in the mud. The club is ran from the very top like an absolute shit show. I spent the whole of last week telling you guys, and I made the preview, posted it on Thursday, didn't do a watch along last night because I'm moving house tomorrow. Moving to a brand new country, so I've been enjoying my final weekend in Bali with my mates. And I tell you what, I'm very bloody happy I did that because last night was just depressing. We started the game relatively well, and we always do this, okay? Every single time you watch Chelsea play football, it will follow the same script. We've got energy when we can be bothered at the beginning of a game. We start very well. Enzo Fernandez giving Chelsea the lead. Brilliant work from Caicedo. Gets it out to Pedro Neto, who, to me, with Neto, right, you always know he's going to run around. It's either going to be completely ineffective or he's going to have a game like he did against Villa, where he does create the most chances. I think he created 4 chances, more than anyone else out there on the field. Gets the ball in, and Enzo Fernandez couldn't really miss. It basically hits him on the leg. Chelsea go 1-0 up, and you're thinking, well, we've actually started this game very well. We've got a very good record at Villa Park, and Aston Villa hadn't won in their last 5 games. And as well as that, the amount of away wins in the Premier League yesterday was mental, wasn't it? Until Chelsea go to Villa Park. And then, of course, Aston Villa go out there and beat us. But look, Aston Villa, the equaliser and the goal that they scored to win it. We're obviously going to talk about the performances. I've got the boxes today. And look, the fact of the matter is, right, you see Aston Villa in the January transfer window, Marcus Rashford and Asensio. And both goals, Rashford to Asensio, Aston Villa win the game. Aston Villa saw that you can't just sell John Duran in the January transfer window and not bring in replacements. When a club is ambitious, when an ownership see that, you know what, Villa are in the Champions League this year, they're absolutely loving life. They got a decent draw against, I think, Club Brugge to go into the quarterfinals. Aston Villa, even though they're not having the greatest Premier League season, they've got a good manager and they're being aspirational. They're actually trying to invest in the market so the 9th place or 8th, 7th isn't what they're going to finish like in the Premier League. Chelsea, we didn't sign anybody in January. There's an injury in the first 3 minutes to Trevor Chalobah, the only player that we actually bought in and back. I don't even count Matisse Mugu as a Chelsea player because Maresca said we're not going to use him. He's on the flipping bench again last night. It's an absolute embarrassment. And to be quite honest, I feel a little bit embarrassed as well, even doing a 6 things we learnt video, because we didn't really learn anything. We see the same patterns over and over again. Chelsea start well. All of a sudden, we take our foot off the gas. Why? Is it because we're cocky? Is it because we're arrogant? Or is it because we just generally don't know how to see out a football match? Chelsea have kept 4 clean sheets in 26 matches this season. That is absolutely abysmal record. So, without any further ado, I'm not going to waste any more of your time. And we begin with box number 1, Philip Jorgensen. I can't believe we're 4 minutes in and I've not been able to talk about the fact that Chelsea Football Club have signed 5 goalkeepers since these new owners came in, and not a single one of them is any good. It is an absolute disgrace. Philip Jorgensen has literally thrown the ball into the back of the net in the 90th minute. I was watching the game and I tell you what, I wasn't even angry. You know why I wasn't angry? Because I don't expect anything from him. Philip Jorgensen was never a Chelsea-level goalkeeper. What the flipping stupid club that we have got now have gone and done is they've taken a look at a few games from last season. The data suggests that this guy is good. No, he isn't. Robert Sanchez is atrocious. Like, how have you spent that much money and we still don't have a serious goalkeeper? What makes it even worse is that Jorgensen, just before we concede that goal, where he literally, he basically throws the ball in the back of the net. He makes a wonderful save just before that. And then he goes and does that. It is an absolute disgrace that these are the standards that we now have to what? Accept at Chelsea Football Club? It's bollocks. I don't accept it. I was spending every day last week talking about how we need to be going for the very top here. Because look, the sporting directors, you know what they've come out and said in the last few days? That they're happy with how everything is going. Of course they are. Because results on the pitch don't matter to these owners, which is why on Tuesday at 6 p.m. at the Bovril Gate at Stamford Bridge, there's going to be a protest happening. And I absolutely want to see everybody going for the ownership here. Because look, if it's okay that the sporting directors can spend 1.5 billion quid and yet we're still shit, then whose fault is that? Is it mine? Is it yours? No, it's absolutely not. It's the fault of those above. And all of this mediocrity is acceptable to them because as long as they can keep the wheels turning and making money at Chelsea Football Club to pay off the debts that they've got from Aris Management, from the bank, BOA and JP Morgan, as long as they can pay their money back and make sure everybody is happy that their investments are making profits, then it's all that matters, isn't it? Anyway, I digress. We move into box number 2. Pedro Neto was the only positive yesterday. And look, I do not recognise this team. When I see that team go out there on the field, I'm looking at the players and I'm like, how many of the Aston Villa players would I say I'd rather have at Chelsea right now than the Chelsea players? And look, I'm giving up with this team this season. I don't expect anything from them now. When you see the levels yesterday, Aston Villa, right? They were the only team that really cared about going for the win. Everyone is absolutely shot to pieces right now. And at least Neto yesterday put in 110% effort. But we move on from there. Cole Palmer, box number 3. What has happened to this guy? I know exactly what's happened to him. His confidence is shot to pieces. He was sick and tired of looking around thinking, I'm the only person that makes anything happen here. If Nicholas Jackson isn't out there on the pitch, there isn't any combinational play. I'm certainly not going to pass the ball to Christopher Nkunku because I have never seen a player so disinterested in wearing a Chelsea shirt than Nkunku. It's a record. Honestly, it is an absolute record. How this guy is still getting picked is beyond me. But there is no chemistry in this team. And even Cole Palmer, a world-class footballer, looks a shell of himself. I absolutely feel sorry for him, but I'm also not going to protect him. Because when you are the best player, you know you're the best player. He knows that he's levels above everyone else in this squad. Caicedo on the same page. But look, you've got to pull it up, mate. You've got to pull your socks up and be like, somebody needs to be a leader here. Someone needs to pull the rabbit out of the hat. And no one is able to do that in a Chelsea shirt right now. Box number 4 is a red for Christopher Nkunku. Tell me, what does this guy do? Tell me what he does in a Chelsea shirt. The fact that Christopher Nkunku is still getting minutes, even though I know we don't have many players available right now. Noni's going to miss the next 3 matches after this too. Jackson's out till April. But look, I said before, don't bring the academy players into this because they don't deserve to have to feel the heat of how bad we're doing right now. But I cannot justify seeing Christopher Nkunku in the Chelsea starting 11 again. The man is absolutely useless. He wanted to go in January, and I even feel sorry for him because he wasn't getting played. We know that he can be on his day a very good footballer. We're not seeing that at Chelsea. And at the moment, we're still not seeing anything from Nkunku to suggest that he deserves to be playing ahead of 17-year-old Shin Mueka, ahead of some other academy players that will probably end up being sold in a couple of years' time for profit anyway. Whilst meanwhile, this guy is still on a couple of $100,000 a week. It is an absolute disgrace. But anyway, I don't even blame Nkunku that much because look, this is the squad planning, right? This is the management of wasting a load of money on players for all of these years. Box number 5 is a red for Reece James. And look, Reece yesterday was playing in uncharted territory, but he's just so off the pace, so sloppy. And look, he's the Chelsea captain, for goodness sake. I love Reece. I always have. But it's just not at the level that he was. None of these players out there yesterday were good enough to be Chelsea players. Neto tried hard and played relatively well. Great assist. Credit to Enzo Fernandez for getting the goal. But other than that, man, it's an absolute disgrace what has happened to the standards of this football club. And look, I've said it over and over again. We need this ownership gone. If we actually ever want to get anywhere near the levels that Chelsea have been at in recent years, this is acceptable to them. Because as long as we can still touch the top four, at least we're close. At least we're making progress, right? It's an absolute disgrace. Box number 6 is a red box for Enzo Maresca. Because look, I'm starting to see and I'm starting to believe that maybe Maresca is out of his depth. And I say maybe. At the minute, he's completely out of his depth. But he's absolutely not 100% to blame. But he's not... You can't void him of blame here. Because ever since Enzo Maresca was coming out, belittling Chelsea's chances of being in a title challenge this season, even being able to finish in the top 4, forget all of the bullshit expectations. Forget all of these, like, mixed narratives that we're hearing. It's lies. 1 minute we are expected top 4, the next minute we're not. Stop lying to everybody. Have a bit of self-respect, Enzo. This is Chelsea Football Club. You are this manager of this team. And you know that Chelsea belong competing for titles, winning titles, not trying to get into the top 4. What on earth has this establishment become? It is an absolute disgrace. And look, Tuesday night, Bovril Gate, 6 p.m, before Southampton at home. Protest, because I want my Chelsea back, and I want our Chelsea back. It's an absolute joke how far we have fallen. Let me know the 6 things you learned in the comments down below. Sorry this video's late, and I'm sorry I've got nothing better to say, and I can't even force a flipping smile for you lot. But I'll see you guys tomorrow.